Have you ever stopped to think about some words we use constantly and if their meanings were always the same we know today? Probably not. You may not be that curious, but we are. And thinking about the evolution of words, we brought some adjectives you would never believe in their meaning during specific times in the past. So buckle up and prepare yourself to be flabbergasted. When you hand in a paper for your professor to correct, you are likely to be happy to hear it abbreviated as awesome and will probably be miserable if it's called awful. We would think of them as completely different, yet there's more to it than meets the eye. The connection between the words awe and awful may not be immediate to us, but a closer look readily shows that they share the same root. When did awful become so negative, or when did awe and awesome become positive? To understand why there is a significant difference in meaning of these two terms, we have to go back to the historical changes they have been through since the beginning of the English language. According to the historical thesaurus of English, in Old English the word awful meant terrible, awe-inspiring. However, by the 16th and 17th centuries, the word awesome started to be used to indicate reverential fear and awe. Until the 19th century, awful could still be found to mean awe-inspiring in authors and poets like Percy Shelley, for example. However, after that period, the sense of awe migrated to awesome, while awful retained the negative connotation of terrible. Recently, that is, towards the 20th century, both words were associated with great quantity, but even then they have different connotations. Awesome unites the sense of being great in quantity and something good in America, but awful means quantity in excess as slang. Another recent effect is that both were extrapolated in informal speech to mean almost opposites. Since the 19th century, awful means accursed and generally bad as an imprecation of daily speech. But awesome is used as excellent from the 1980s as slang too. Another adjective that changed drastically over time is pretty. Probably you would like to receive a compliment as "you are pretty" because it would mean that you did well your hair or you chose the right outfit. That's right, but it wasn't always in this way. Actually, the meaning of pretty related to beauty exists since 1440. However, the word had other significations over time. In the period from 1440 to 1712, when a person was called pretty, it is possible that the compliment had nothing to do with his or her appearance. According to the historical thesaurus of English, it could be related to skillfulness. Therefore, if you were a good craftsman that time you would be called pretty. A good profession, huh? Just kidding. Let's return to what is important. In that period, to be pretty also meant to be ingenious. Very different from the strict meaning it has today, isn't it? Besides that, the historical thesaurus of English indicates that pretty could have a different meaning when it was used in 1667. In that time it could be a matter of artistic taste. If a person had an aesthetic sense, it was worthy of the compliment. However, not only people related to art were pretty. Another meaning of the word chiefly used in Scotland and US is related to courage. From 1400, to be pretty also meant to be bold in battle. If you thought that those gross warriors couldn't be pretty. This is a plot twist, isn't it? This adjective, therefore, can be considered a good example of amelioration. Thankfully, if someone calls you pretty nowadays, it means that you are really pretty. Okay. It was confusing. It is time to talk about another adjective. In the opposite of pretty, you probably would not like to be called stupid, am I right? The current definition of the word means you are silly, unwise, or has lacking thought or intelligence. No one wants to be that way, but its meaning were not always that negative. When someone was considered stupid, it meant that he was amazed with something. The first registration of this meaning, recorded in the historical thesaurus of English, came back in 1500 and lasts until 1649, when the word had stopped to be used in this context. I assume you are wondering, how is possible that stupid means amazed, and I have an answer right on point. In this case, stupid is related to a physical sensation. You are so astonished that your body finds a way to demonstrate this feeling. The physical sensation was a strong idea that poets took off from medical cases. Stupefied might be considered a disease, but poets added a different value for it, and it all comes back to stupid. The word and its meaning were attached to the nature of stupor. The similarities of spelling are not random. Stupor was a figure of speech also used in poetry to demonstrate the same meaning used for stupid. So in our case, being stupid is poetic. The similarity hadn't finished yet. The historical thesaurus of English recorded another one. In 1611, poets also used the word stunned to represent surprise, and in many times it was followed by the word stupid. Therefore, stunned, stupid. However, all of the words were attached to the word stupid, which make us believe that all of them came from the same source, the stupid one. The idea of being physically stupid lasts until 1737, when it lost the value, but we can say, for a century, being stupid was a thing. But if you ask me about a word which changed drastically only in the modern times, we can talk about sophisticated. Nowadays, if you call someone of sophisticated, you mean that this person has a great amount of worldly experience or knowledge. If something is considered sophisticated, it means that it's developed with high complexity. However, to come up with this meaning, the word suffered a lot of twists. Sophisticated is closely attached to the Greek teachers called sophists in the classical Greece, who did not enjoy a good reputation. Plato considered them to be dishonest, and then sophistry came to mean a bad thing. Centuries after this, sophisticated was related with the Latin verb sophisticare, which was used in the medieval ages, related to a sense of dishonesty. This idea was applied to merchants and traders, who added different substances to their goods to bulk them out and, therefore, improve their profits by cheating the customers. This information matches with the data informed in the historical thesaurus of English. Sophisticated was registered when it appears in 1531 with the meaning of false or something falsified, and also appeared in 1607 with the idea of adulterated, mixed with something. So if someone had said to you in the medieval times that a London market was sophisticated, it meant that you probably would not have bought even a tiny loaf of bread there. Sophisticated was always linked to the idea of something not genuine, which was altered from its natural state. The historical thesaurus of English has also recorded a definition of sophisticated as unnatural, which has used in 1746. This meaning lasts until the 19th century, when people began to use the word in a positive way, as we know currently. Before that, you were called sophisticated only if you were a cheater, not someone with knowledge and a good taste. Therefore, from now on, have in mind that words change throughout time. Actually, they are changing now. Could you think of an example?
That's all, folks.